Breaking news that is sending shockwaves through immigrant communities across America. President Trump's administration has just announced sweeping changes to immigration policy in 2026 that could affect millions of naturalized citizens. Are your citizenship rights at risk? Could your green card status be in jeopardy? Stay with me because what I am about to reveal could change everything you thought you knew about your immigration status in the United States. This is information every immigrant, every naturalized citizen, and every green card holder absolutely needs to hear right now. Welcome to US Visa Info, your most trusted source for accurate, up-to-date, and professional immigration information. I am here to cut through the noise, the rumors, and the fear-mongering to bring you the facts about what is really happening with Trump's immigration policies in 2026. If you are new here, this channel is dedicated to providing you with clear, honest, and legally accurate information about visas, green cards, citizenship, and everything related to immigration in the United States. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because immigration laws are changing rapidly and you need to stay informed. Today, we are delivering a complete legal breakdown of the new rules affecting naturalized citizens. Let me start by addressing the elephant in the room. Yes, President Donald Trump has returned to the White House in 2025, and his administration has wasted no time in implementing significant changes to immigration policy. But here is what you need to understand right from the start. There is a massive difference between campaign rhetoric, proposed policies, and actual implemented laws. What you hear on social media, what gets shared in WhatsApp groups, and what clickbait headlines scream at you is often very different from the legal reality on the ground. Since taking office on January 20th, 2025, the Trump administration has signaled its intention to take a harder line on immigration enforcement. This includes increased scrutiny of naturalization applications, enhanced deportation procedures, and stricter enforcement of existing immigration laws. But, and this is crucial, there are constitutional protections and legal processes that cannot simply be bypassed even by executive order. This fundamental distinction between political statements and enforceable law is something every member of the immigrant community must keep firmly in mind as we examine the developments unfolding in 2026. Let us talk about what is actually happening with naturalized citizens in 2026. First and foremost, I want to make this absolutely clear. If you are a naturalized United States citizen, your citizenship cannot be taken away easily or arbitrarily. The 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution protects citizenship rights. It states that all persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States. This is a constitutional guarantee that has been upheld by the Supreme Court repeatedly throughout American history, providing a bedrock level of security that cannot be casually disregarded. However, there are specific circumstances under which citizenship can be revoked, and the Trump administration has signaled its intention to pursue denaturalization more aggressively than previous administrations. Denaturalization is the legal process by which the government can strip someone of their citizenship. This is not new. This process has existed for decades, but what is new is the intensity and frequency with which the current administration is pursuing these cases. Under current law, specifically Section 340 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, the government can pursue denaturalization if citizenship was obtained illegally or fraudulently. This means if you lied on your naturalization application, if you concealed material facts, if you obtained citizenship through marriage fraud, or if you were not actually eligible for citizenship when it was granted, the government can theoretically take your citizenship away. But here is the key point. This requires a full legal process. The government must file a lawsuit in federal court. You have the right to an attorney. You have the right to defend yourself. The government must prove its case with clear and convincing evidence. This is not something that happens overnight or without due process. The Trump administration has reportedly increased funding and resources to the denaturalization section within the Department of Justice. This is a specialized unit that investigates cases of fraudulent naturalization. According to reports from early 2025 and continuing into 2026, this office has been reviewing thousands of old naturalization cases, looking for instances of fraud or misrepresentation. They are using advanced database matching technology to cross-reference information from naturalization applications with criminal databases, immigration records, and other government files. This methodical approach underscores the administration's commitment to enforcement, yet it also highlights the safeguards built into the system that prevent arbitrary actions. Who is most at risk? Let me be very clear about this, because there is a lot of misinformation out there. If you obtained your citizenship legally, if you told the truth on your application, if you met all the requirements, and if you have been a law-abiding citizen, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Your citizenship is secure. The Constitution protects you. However, if you lied about your criminal history, if you used a false identity, if you committed marriage fraud to get your green card, or if you concealed material information that would have made you ineligible for citizenship, then yes, you could potentially be at risk. The categories of cases that are being targeted include individuals who concealed their involvement in human rights violations, war crimes, or terrorism, people who lied about criminal convictions, especially serious crimes, individuals who obtained citizenship through sham marriages, people who used fraudulent documents or assumed false identities, and individuals who were members of organizations that should have made them inadmissible to the United States, such as terrorist organizations or Nazi-affiliated groups. These targeted reviews are based strictly on evidence of fraud or misrepresentation, and the legal threshold remains high, ensuring that only well-documented cases proceed through the courts. Now, let us talk about the new rules and enhanced enforcement measures that have been implemented in 2026. There has been a significant increase in citizenship application scrutiny. USCIS, the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, has implemented more rigorous background checks for naturalization applicants. These checks now include enhanced database searches, longer processing times, and more frequent requests for additional evidence. What used to take 12 to 18 months is now taking anywhere from 18 to 30 months in many jurisdictions. This extended timeline reflects a deliberate effort to conduct deeper verifications, which, while slowing the process, aims to maintain the integrity of the naturalization system. Interview procedures have become more intensive. Naturalization interviews are now longer and more detailed. Immigration officers are asking more probing questions about an applicant's entire immigration history, their travels, their employment, their family relationships, and their understanding of American civics and history. The civics test has not changed officially, but officers are taking more time to verify that applicants truly understand the meaning and significance of American democracy and constitutional principles. This heightened level of inquiry serves to confirm genuine commitment to the values of the United States while still operating within established legal frameworks. There has been an expansion of expedited removal procedures. While this primarily affects people who are not yet citizens, it is important to understand because it affects the overall immigration enforcement environment. Expedited removal allows immigration officers to quickly deport individuals without a hearing before an immigration judge in certain circumstances. The Trump administration has expanded the geographic scope and time frame for expedited removal, meaning more people can be subject to this fast-track deportation process. This change contributes to a broader atmosphere of stricter interior enforcement that influences how all immigration matters are approached. There is increased workplace enforcement and raids. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, known as ICE, has ramped up worksite enforcement operations. This means more raids at workplaces suspected of employing undocumented workers. While naturalized citizens should not be affected by this directly, it creates an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty in immigrant communities. Enhanced cooperation between local law enforcement and federal immigration authorities is another key development. The Trump administration has encouraged local police departments to cooperate more closely with ICE. Some jurisdictions have ended their sanctuary city policies under pressure from the federal government. This means that encounters with local police could potentially lead to immigration consequences for those who are not citizens or who have immigration violations in their past. These measures collectively shape a more vigilant enforcement landscape, yet they continue to operate within the bounds of existing statutes and constitutional limits. Now, What does all of this mean for you if you are a naturalized citizen? Let me break this down into practical terms. If you became a citizen through the proper legal channels, if you are honest on all your applications, and if you have maintained a clean record, you should not lose sleep over these policies. Your citizenship is protected by the Constitution. The government cannot simply decide one day to take it away without going through a lengthy legal process that gives you full due process rights. However, I do recommend that all naturalized citizens take certain precautionary steps. Keep all your immigration documents safe and organized. This includes your certificate of naturalization, your green card, even though you no longer need it, copies of all applications you submitted, and any correspondence with USCIS. If questions ever arise, having this documentation readily available will be invaluable. If you have any criminal issues in your past, even minor ones, it would be wise to consult with an immigration attorney to review whether these could potentially pose any risk to your citizenship status. In most cases, minor offenses committed after naturalization cannot lead to denaturalization, but offenses that were concealed before naturalization could potentially be problematic. Be careful about making false claims to U.S. citizenship if you are not yet a citizen. I mention this because I know many viewers of U.S. Visa Info are on the path to citizenship, but not there yet. Falsely claiming to be a U.S. citizen, for example, when registering to vote or unemployment documents, can have serious consequences, including permanent inadmissibility to the United States. If you receive any letter or notice from USCIS, the Department of Justice, or any government agency questioning your citizenship or asking you to appear for an interview, do not ignore it. Do not try to handle it alone. Immediately consult with a qualified immigration attorney who has experience with denaturalization cases. These are serious matters that require professional legal representation. Stay informed about policy changes. This is why channels like US Visa Info exist. Immigration law is changing rapidly under the current administration. What is true today might change tomorrow. Following reliable sources of information will help you understand how these changes might affect you and your family. Let me also address some of the rumors and myths that are circulating on social media, because I know many of you have questions about things you have heard. One widespread myth is that the government is mass deporting naturalized citizens. This is false. While denaturalization cases have increased, we are talking about hundreds of cases, not millions. The vast majority of naturalized citizens are not under any threat whatsoever. Another myth suggests that speaking your native language or maintaining ties to your home country can cost you your citizenship. This is completely false. The United States does not require you to abandon your culture, language, or heritage when you become a citizen. Dual citizenship is recognized by the United States in most cases. Visiting your home country, speaking your native language, and maintaining family ties abroad are all perfectly legal and normal. A third myth claims that if you are a naturalized citizen, you can be deported for any crime. This is false. Once you are a naturalized citizen, you generally cannot be deported for crimes committed after naturalization. The only exception is if your citizenship is denaturalized through the legal process described earlier, and that can only happen if your citizenship was obtained fraudulently in the first place. A fourth myth is that the government is targeting all naturalized citizens from certain countries. While it is true that certain countries receive more scrutiny in the immigration system generally, there is no official policy that targets all naturalized citizens from specific nations for denaturalization. Cases are supposed to be pursued based on individual evidence of fraud, not on national origin or ethnicity. These clarifications are essential to separate fact from fiction in an environment where misinformation spreads quickly. Now, let us talk about what rights you have if you are ever questioned about your citizenship. First and foremost, you have the right to remain silent. You do not have to answer questions without an attorney present. If you are contacted by any government agency about your citizenship status, you should politely decline to answer questions until you have consulted with an attorney. Say something like, "I would prefer to have an attorney present before discussing this matter." You have the right to an attorney in any denaturalization proceeding. If the government files a lawsuit to revoke your citizenship, you have the right to hire a lawyer to defend you. If you cannot afford a lawyer, you should seek help from nonprofit legal organizations that provide free or low-cost immigration legal services. The government has the burden of proof. In a denaturalization case, the government must prove that you obtained citizenship illegally or fraudulently. You do not have to prove your innocence. The government must present clear and convincing evidence to support its claims. You have the right to appeal. If a court rules against you in a denaturalization case, you have the right to appeal that decision to a higher court. These cases can go all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary. You have protection against double jeopardy. If the government tries to denaturalize you for a specific reason and fails, it generally cannot try again for the same reason. These protections form a robust framework that ensures fairness and prevents overreach. Let me also address the emotional and psychological impact of these policies. I know that many of you in the immigrant community are feeling anxious, scared, and uncertain about the future. This is completely understandable. Immigration has become an incredibly politicized issue in the United States, and the rhetoric can be frightening. But I want to encourage you not to let fear paralyze you. The United States remains a nation of laws. The Constitution still protects your rights. The courts still function as a check on executive power. We have seen throughout American history that attempted overreach by any administration gets checked by the judicial system. Already in 2025 and 2026, several Trump administration immigration policies have been challenged in court, and some have been blocked or limited by federal judges. If you are on the path to citizenship and have not applied yet, you might be wondering whether you should wait or proceed now. My general advice is that if you are eligible to apply for citizenship, you should do so. Citizenship offers the strongest protection and the most rights under U.S. law. While the process may be more scrutinized now, if you qualify legally, you should pursue it. Waiting may not necessarily make things easier, and having citizenship provides security that a green card cannot match. For those of you who are green card holders wondering about these policies, let me say this. Green card holders do not have the same constitutional protections as citizens. Your permanent resident status can be revoked more easily than citizenship can be denaturalized. This is why it is so important to follow all the rules. Maintain your status properly. Avoid criminal activity. File your taxes every year and apply for citizenship as soon as you are eligible. I also want to address the impact on family members. If you are a naturalized citizen with family members who are still in the immigration process, you are probably worried about how these policies affect them. The reality is that family-based immigration is under increased scrutiny. Processing times are longer, approval standards are stricter, but family reunification remains a cornerstone of American immigration law. If you have petitioned for family members, stay in close contact with your attorney, respond promptly to any requests for evidence, and make sure all documentation is thorough and accurate. Looking ahead to the rest of 2026 and beyond, what can we expect? It is likely that the Trump administration will continue to pursue aggressive immigration enforcement. We may see additional executive orders, new regulations, and continued emphasis on border security and interior enforcement. However, it is also likely that many of these measures will face legal challenges. The American legal system moves slowly, but it does provide checks and balances. Congress could also play a role. If there is sufficient political will, Congress could pass immigration reform legislation that either reinforces or moderates the administration's approach. However, given the current political divisions, comprehensive immigration reform seems unlikely in the near term. What is most important for you to understand is this: knowledge is power. Staying informed through reliable sources like US Visa Info gives you the information you need to make smart decisions about your immigration situation. Do not rely on rumors. Do not believe everything you see on social media. And do not let fear drive your decisions. If you have questions about your specific situation, consult with a qualified immigration attorney. Every case is different, and what applies to one person may not apply to another. Generic advice from the internet, even from well-meaning sources, cannot replace personalized legal counsel from a licensed attorney who can review your specific circumstances. I want to emphasize something critical as we wrap up this section. The United States has a long history of immigration, and immigrants have always been a vital part of American society. Despite the current political climate, millions of immigrants continue to thrive in this country. People are still getting green cards, people are still becoming citizens, and people are still achieving the American dream. Do not let fear rob you of your aspirations. That brings me to the end of today's comprehensive breakdown of Trump's immigration policy updates for 2026 and what they mean for naturalized citizens. I hope this video has given you clarity, reduced your anxiety, and provided you with actionable information you can use. Remember, if you obtained your citizenship legally and honestly, you are protected by the Constitution of the United States. Your citizenship is secure. Thank you so much for watching US Visa Info. If this video helped you understand the current immigration landscape better, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel reach more people who need this information. Subscribe to US Visa Info if you have not already, and make sure to hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Immigration policies are changing constantly, and I am here to keep you informed every step of the way. Drop your questions in the comments below. I try to read every comment, and your questions often inspire future videos. If there is a specific immigration topic you would like me to cover, let me know. Share this video with your friends and family members who might benefit from this information. Knowledge shared is power multiplied. Stay informed, stay legal, stay hopeful, and remember that you are not alone on this journey. Millions of immigrants are navigating this system just like you, and together we are stronger. I will see you in the next video right here on US Visa Info. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep pursuing your American dream.